Hey guys, I made this modern side table with some scrap pieces of a birch butcher block countertop. This is a quick build. The table has only 3 parts. The tabletop and the foot are in trapezoid shape, but in opposite directions. I think this arrangement can make the table look more balanced and bring a little bit of fun. The leg has a big hole in the middle to make it more transparent. The most interesting setup is the leg is placed at a 15-degree angle to the perpendicular position of the center line of the tabletop and the foot. This is not only a design feature, but also a functional one. Based on simulation, this 15-degree shift can make the table more rigid. These are the simulation results I did in Fusion 360. The left one is for the current design, and the right one has the leg perpendicular to the center line of the tabletop and the foot. In the simulations, I added 250 Newton force to the tabletop. The results showed that the tabletop of the left one has a slightly less max displacement than the right one, and the max displacement of the left one only occurred at the corner, while the right one has a much larger area of the max displacement. Okay, that's the brief talk about the design. Now let's start a build. These are the scrap butcher block pieces. They are the cutoffs of my previous coffee bar build. If you are interested with that build, the link can be found in the description below. I first cut them into rough shapes with miter saw and table saw. Then I glued up 2 narrow pieces together to make the leg of the table. With my Shapeoko Pro CNC, I cut a 1/4-inch MDF board to make the template of the leg. This template was used to cut the big center hole on the leg. To cut this hole, I first marked the hole location, then drilled a small hole as the starting point for the jigsaw. Then used the jigsaw to roughly cut the hole. I then attached the template to the wood piece with blue tape and CA glue, and used a compression pattern bit on the router table to cut the shape of the template. Because the wood piece is 1/2 inch thick, which is bigger than the cutting depth of the compression bit, I cut it in 2 passes. A knot hole showed up after the cut, so I used 2-part epoxy to fill this knot hole. The heat gun was used to remove the bubbles from the epoxy. Then I used CNC to cut the trapezoid template for the tabletop and the table foot, also with a 1/4-inch MDF board. I set the cutting depth a little bit deeper, so the CNC cut into the waste board. In this way, I can position the tabletop and table foot back to the exact same spot and cut the mortises on them with CNC. The mortises were used to join the tabletop and the leg, as well as the leg and the table foot. After mortises were cut on CNC, I used a half-inch round-over bit to round over the edges. I did it in multiple light passes to avoid tear-out. The result is quite good and clean, but from design point of view, I probably should choose 5/8 or even 3/4 inch round-over bit to make the round-over feature more dramatic. The last step before the assembly is to cut tenons on the leg. I used dado blade and miter gauge with a stop block to cut them on table saw. For assembly, I applied the majority of the glue to the mortise and a little bit glue to the tenon to avoid squeeze out. I assembled the leg to the tabletop first with clamping 2 squares. After a few hours, I then assembled the table foot with a temporary supporting leg. I used the poker cards to adjust the height of the temporary leg to make the table foot square to the leg. For the finish as usual, I used Rubio Monocoat Super White on this birch table. I like the Scandinavian style color created by this Rubio finish. In total, I applied 2 coats to make the surface more smooth and to create a satin sheen. The most important thing for applying Rubio is surface preparation. Need to sand the surface thoroughly before applying Rubio. In my case, I noticed a few spots on the tabletop that were colored differently than other areas. I believe this is because I did not sand through these spots well. Okay, that's how I made this modern side table. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave a comment. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please thumb up and subscribe.